Hi everyone. So let's go over the measure of center worksheet. Give you an overall view of the answers, maybe give you some tips on how to do this better. Okay, so the first thing is problem number one. Something to do with nicotine amounts on cigarettes, and these are the values. Don't assume these values are in order. That's the first thing you would do. So put them in order. And I can give you a tip. You can put these values in your calculator and sort them. And one of the things you should keep in mind is that you have your calculator not as a answer machine, but and of course it's not a crutch either. It's more of a checking for understanding tool. It's a tool so that you can check your answers, but you still need to do your work. It's more, again, to lower your anxiety about, is this answer appropriate for the work that I did? And again, these values can be put in the calculator in the lists, and then you can definitely sort them. Okay, so that's one thing. And what I did was I did the median. And the median, when you put them in order, you just cross them out, right? Until you find, in this case, the center. And you have the median. Okay, and then I did the mode. And what I did was I collected the similar numbers and I put them in columns. And as you can see, 1.1 is here. There's three of them. And then 1.2s are over here. So visually, you can see this a little bit better. And you can see that 1.1 seems to be the mode. Could you have just circled here and said, oh, that's the mode? You can. You can do that as well. But one thing, though, that I want you to consider and be thoughtful about this, you can circle this and say, oh, that's the mode, but you should write it out, okay? As a matter of fact, you should write your answers like in a section so that, I won't miss it. And it's possible that you might miss the grading that I do. So it's beneficial for both of us, all right? And then the mean, the way to do that is to use the formula, which is pretty straightforward. You just add all the numbers, and yes, you do have to show all the numbers, divided by the total, do a little bit of math, and then you get 1.3, which is over here, okay? So that's important. One thing that's also important is, if sometimes people will leave this out and then they have an answer here and it's like, what is this? What's this calculation for? So, make sure, you're demonstrating what this value is supposed to be. Okay, and then the next one says, find the mean. Okay, so when we have a table, it's best to use the weighted mean formula. It's a fancy way of adding faster, right? So if you look at this, this is the mean. It has a W, meaning weighted. Why weighted? Because these values, the higher these values are, the more weight they put on the mean. And it also follows the whole idea of a balance point, right? If you have kids here and there's more weight over here, right? Let's say this is 0, and less weight over here, which is like, I don't know, let's say this is 3, or better yet, 5, let's say 5. More weight over here compared to weight over here, then that means this fulcrum, this balance point, would be more over here because there's more weight on this side. So this fulcrum is a way to balance these points. Yes, these are pets, not people. But you get the sense that you get an idea of what I'm talking about. So we talked about balance points and how important they are in this class, which are means. So the formula continues on here, and it says that we need to multiply these two values first and then add. All right, that's very important. And you could, or I might as well here change this a little bit. To put parentheses, wrong blue. There we go. That's a little bit better for our understanding. So multiply these values. And they're all written out here. Okay. And then I divide by not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't put 7 here. All right. Thing is, we need to find the total frequency. And that's why all these values are down there. And then we add them all up, right? We multiply these out. And then we add this. And then we get 94 divided by 43, which gives you 2.18. Now, you can use your calculator to find the weighted mean. I do have a video, or you can watch a video. Just, type in Google, let's say you had a TI-83, go to YouTube probably, TI-83, right? That's what you would type, TI-83 weighted mean. And you'll probably find a video on how to do it, or TI-84. Now, the answer, without a calculator, is this reasonable? Well, look at the number of pets, right? The number of pets goes from 0 to 6. And we want to know the average number of pets, right? Think about it. You have a beam again, right? And it goes from 0 to 6. And you want to know the average. The average has to be between 0 and 6. If you get an answer here of 24.3, how can the answer be 24.3 if the number of pets only go from 0 to 6? Okay, you have to understand, like, what is this mean really giving you, right? And the mean is really a balance point, meaning it's in between the values that they give you. But not really in between doesn't mean the center, like perfect center. That would be the median. So just be aware that whatever answer you get here, it has to be in between these values. That doesn't necessarily mean doesn't necessarily have to be in the center, like the median. And this is even a good point, which goes back to when I was drawing the people on here. If number of pets is 0 to 6, and you have more pets on this side closer to 0 than here, then your fulcrum, your balance point, will be more closely to the 0 point than the 6. And look, here it is. This value is 2.18, right? Here's 2. Here's 2.18. Why would the balance point be more closer to 0 than to 6? Is because more values are more closer to these values, right? The more frequent values are here than these values. These pet values are more weighted because there's more values, more of the pets more 0 pets, more 1 pets, more 2 pets. And so instead of being in the center, right, that the average would be, it's more pulled to the left. Okay, and if you didn't get that, hopefully as we do these more, you'll get a sense that the mean is influenced by big numbers. And so that balance point has to be moved over with it. All right, what's next? And here it says, let's say you have a sample which goes from 3 to 120, right? And it says you have calculated the mean to determine 121.4, just like what we were talking before. Can the mean be outside of the range of the numbers? No. Okay, that's what we're talking about. The mean can't pass the max value. For the mean is a balance point. The mean has to be in between 3 and 120. And that's a very big, big idea, right? When you go to the next class, you'll know that when you have a set of numbers and you want to know the mean, it has to be between those numbers. Does it mean that it's going to be in the center? No, that's the median. Is it going to be, well, by the way, the mean and the median could be the same number. I'm not saying it isn't, but most likely, right, it will probably not be in the middle of the mean. But there's a lot of systems, and we are going to learn of a few towards the end, where the graph looks very symmetrical, and then we'll find out that the mean, the median, and the mode are all the same. But those are very specific type problems that we will look at later. Okay, here's the next one. What does it say here? The front row in a movie theater has 23 seats. If we were to ask to sit in the seat that occupies the median position, which seat would we have to sit? So I wrote down all the numbers. Do you have to write all the numbers? Yes. You can see I started with 1. I ended with 23. And then I just started crossing them out. And then I get 12, right? Which is here. Now, some of you, right, because you're like, what is this? Some of you watched my YouTube video, and what I did was I wrote the numbers out on the top. And then, based on a formula, I was able to find the position and then notify the answer. Now, if you're confused on what is this, do I have to know this? No. For those who watch the video, this is a very convenient way of knowing where the median is. And by the way, just because you saw 2 problems where there seems to be a middle where things turn out very nice, remember there could be 2 values instead, and that's a different way of finding the median. What's over here? What do barbecue flavored potato chips cost? I don't know. So find the mean based on these numbers. Oh, that's easy. Just take the numbers, add them together, divide by how many, what is this, bags you have or something? No, they're just according to Consumer Reports volumes. Okay, what has a better flavor? Okay, so there's just chips. And then you add the number on the top, divide by 6, and then you get an answer. Some of you have been asking about, where should I round off? Well, for right now, I said 3 numbers, didn't I? And which is fine. So in this case, 0.333, if you put a bar over it on 2 or 3, it just says that you have repeating values. Try to keep 3 numbers after the decimal place. Ooh, what is this? It says use your calculator. Okay. Finding The mode is a bit harder to find on the calculator, but these values we can find. And let's see if we can videotape this. Let's see if we can do this together. Now I'm using this, particular version of the iOS TI-83 program. Okay, so I'm going to press that, and I'm going to press edit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go on the top, and I'm going to click on clear and enter. Now I don't want to go up and delete, because then I'll delete the column. Then I got to find another video on how to bring it back. Okay. All right. So we go 14 and enter, and 20, enter, 20, enter. And I got to be very careful making sure I enter all these numbers right. And sure enough, things have happened where you don't enter the numbers right. And that's the whole trick, isn't it? Making sure you enter all the numbers right. And I'll probably double check my numbers again. So if I did an error, don't be like, oh, Mr. Romero, you did an error. Well, I can't hear you. There's a video. See, okay, here's the thing. Look, it says 20 chips. I wonder if I did 20. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And so there are 20, so I did make a mistake, you see? See, these things you have to take into account. 14, 1, 2, 3, 4 20s. 1, 2, 3, 4 20s. There's a 23, 25. There's 3 20s. I bet you I missed that. Yep. There's 3 20s, okay. What else? See, while I was talking, I messed up. 2 35s. And that's what happens when you do math. Well, I'm talking to myself on this one, or I'm talking to you in the future, right? Okay, cool. Now, let's do the easy stuff. Let's do stat and calc. I'm going to do number one variable stats. This might not be the same as what you have. The other one might be a what do they call a wizard, a stat wizard. This one's not the wizard. This one says, what do you want to do? Well, I want to do the second one, which gives me the list. Now, you might feel, oh my gosh, you're pressing all these numbers, you're going too fast. Well, then just rewind, pause. Or you can watch another video, which might go a little bit slower. But that's the whole thing, right? That you're building your muscle skills to understand where these buttons are. And that's when you start doing, you do it, in between classes so that you won't feel left behind. But anyway, you click on second one to give you L1. You see L1 and then enter. And there it is. So average 35.94. Boom. Okay. No median. There is a median. Look at that. 32.5. Okay. 32.5. It's hard to tell, but it's on the second column. But the mode, there isn't no mode. I don't know why there is no mode here, but you can't find it. Luckily, these numbers are in order, right? Yes, there is a way to find it in the calculator. If these numbers were not in order, you can put them in order, and then you can look to see which one has the most frequent, and you can see that this is the most frequent in this case. All right, so there it is. We found the answer. Here you just write the answer. There is no I don't ask you to write the steps. Some teachers do. Write down the steps on what you did to find that answer. No need. Okay, so that should give you an idea of how to do these two sheets. And I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.